We are live. Man, we're going to talk about this Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buccaneers game is coming up this weekend, this Sunday. But I want to talk about Deshaun Watson, where he's going to possibly end up at. And he's talking about probably sitting out the whole year. I really don't see that happening, but it can. We're going to talk about Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. Was that a good who got the better of that deal? We're going to also talk about other football news. Because it's a lot of quarterback carousels is going to go down. It was a report that Matthew Stafford was going to end up with the Colts because of Phillip Rivers retiring, but it doesn't look like. Hold on, I'll be right back, y'all. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It was a report that Matthew Stafford was going to go to the Colts, and then people were saying that Deshaun Watson was looking at the Rams, but the Rams end up grabbing Matthew Stafford from the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford was a former number one overall pick, I believe. 2000? I want to say 2010, up in there somewhere. Could have been up in there somewhere. I mean, hold on. He's been in the league, 10 years? 2010, somewhere up in there, 2010, 2009, maybe. Matthew Stafford, he has a pretty good arm. He does have a pretty good arm. He can make every throw. He throws a deep ball very, very well because I see him play the Bears 2 times a year. He plays the Bears, especially when he had Megatron. He had a Roy Williams. He has some pretty good receivers there. He still has they still have a decent receiving core with Galladay, but Galladay was hurt a lot this year. They got Jones that's still there. He had a pretty good tight end, up and coming tight end too, that was there too also. But the Lions just can't get it right, man. The Lions been bad for a number of years. Barry Sanders, I believe Barry Sanders was on the team the last time they won a playoff game back in the 90s. I believe they beat the Dallas Cowboys. I believe Detroit beat the Dallas Cowboys. That was a while ago. I mean, I was young, man. The last time Detroit won a playoff game, I probably was in my teens. So that was a long time. I'm 44. That was a long time ago. Like I said, the Detroit Pistons have been awful, like awful. I believe Matthew Stafford has been to the playoffs with the Detroit Lions maybe one or two times. Never won a playoff game. They had some decent, like I said, they had some decent offensive weapons. They had Adama Sue was there. Like I said, they did have a decent team every once in a while, but they haven't been steady. They haven't put anything really around Matthew Stafford. A lot of coaches and changes. You can't have that many coaching changes because every coach have a different philosophy. Every time a coach come in, usually a new offensive coordinator comes in. And I'm not going to even talk about the other side of the ball because usually they bring their own defensive coordinator. So the philosophy is continuously changing. And usually when a coach, especially on offense, like if you come up with the West Coast offense versus the shotgun spread it out offense, you got to have different personnel. So when you bring in these different coaches, they have different philosophies, and you can't do that with a quarterback. A quarterback has to have stability from the offensive coordinator to the coach. It just has to. Like Andy Reid, he had Donovan McNabb. He was with Donovan McNabb for 8-9 years. Now he's with Patrick Mahomes. You had Mike Holmgren was with Brett Favre. You had just a number of offensive coaches, offensive coordinators and coaches just together. You had McDaniels Tom Brady around each other for a long time. So it breeds continuity. You can't keep changing offensive coordinators and coaches and think your team, especially if you're going to draft a franchise quarterback, which they drafted Matt Stafford #1 overall. So when you draft for #1 overall, you saying this is the anchor, this is our quarterback that's going to take us from now into the future. You have to have stability around him. Isn't this not going to work? And, he's moving on to the Rams. It's good for Matthew Stafford that he's moving on to the Rams. Now he gets to get a decent team around him. He got some offensive weapons, Cooper Kupp, a pretty good two pretty good tight ends. They got Reynolds, which I'm really hounding at Reynolds kid. They did trade Cook. So Cook is not there, or they didn't sign him or whatever, but he's not there, Brandon Cook. But like I said, they got some weapons there. He got a pretty good defense. We all know he got Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. They got the kid from the Bears, Leonard Floyd, and they got some other guy. Oh, they got. No, they don't have Sue no more. The Bucs got Sue this year. Sue was there like last year and a couple years, and then they got a nice little young running back in Henderson. Taking over for Todd Gurley. But it just looked like the Rams. It just didn't work for them. A couple years ago, the Rams was like, they had the fifth best offense in NFL history. Went to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl. Took them to the Super Bowl. Now people say he's been playing bad. The man took them to a Super Bowl. Now, people can say, well, Todd Gurley was on the team, but I remember Todd Gurley was hurt that year. The year they went to the Super Bowl, Todd Gurley was kind of laboring because they brought in that Anderson, that Mike Anderson guy that's played for the Carolina Panthers right now. They brought him in, and he did real good. And Todd Gurley was kind of struggling. He was having good games here and there, but he was kind of struggling. Jared Goff carried the team. And they put it, like I said, they have a pretty good defense, so the defense helped out a lot. But I don't know, man. He's 25 years old. I don't know how you give up on a quarterback that quickly, that soon. He's been with that organization. He got drafted at #1 overall when Fisher was there, and everybody said he was a bust because Fisher don't do good with quarterbacks. He didn't do good with Vince Young. If you go back and look at the Vince Young experiment with Jeff Fisher, it was not good at all. Vince Young had two good years, and after that, it started falling off, slowly dripping, falling off, getting worse and worse each year. But now they say that that Sean McVay, he calls the plays and he calls the audibles, and he's in Jared Goff's ear up until the snap of the ball. Now that was always a red flag for me that. He don't trust Jared Goff, or either Jared Goff cannot decipher defenses. He cannot go to the line of scrimmage and look at what defense the opposing team is in and make the proper adjustments. Maybe he probably couldn't because they said he was in his calling his ear and calling the audibles up until the snap of the ball. But like I said, they still got to the Super Bowl. And they probably should have won the Super Bowl. They just couldn't score. They were probably the highest scoring team next to the Chiefs that year, and they just couldn't score the ball. So, listen, Sean McVay's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer, right? He's supposed to be a quarterback guy that's good with quarterbacks. I mean, you have the #1 overall pick. He's #1 overall for a reason. He got talent. He has talent. He can throw the football. Now, his arm may not be as strong. He may not be as talented. His arm may not be as talented as Matthew Stafford, but nevertheless, he still got you to the Super Bowl, a Super Bowl that y'all should have won. And Sean McVay admitted that it was his fault. He made a couple, iffy calls in that Super Bowl that cost him the game. The Patriots were off. Tom Brady was off. And the Rams let them come in the back door and snatch the Super Bowl away from them, like many other teams allow the Patriots to snatch Super Bowls. The Atlanta Falcons, the list goes on and on. The list goes on and on, man. The Legion of Doom, boom. The Seattle Seahawks. So, Tom Brady did it to a lot of teams, so there's no shame in that. But Like I said, they should have won. Like I said, they should have won that Super Bowl. Getting back to Jared Goff, is Matthew Stafford, will he do better? He probably will do better, for the simple fact that, um, like I said, he can make all the throws, and when a quarterback can make every throw on the field, with precision, it makes the offense more dangerous. Uh, I guess they lost confidence in Jared Goff, that he could not take them any further. I mean, he can't. Now the thing on Matthew Stafford is he has a lot of pressure. He has to win the Super Bowl. He can't just go to the Super Bowl because Jared Goff did that. He just look. It's gonna be like this in LA for Matthew Stafford as long as he's gonna have his tenure there. He can't just get to the first round. He just can't get to the second round. He just can't get to the NFC Championship game. I mean, NFC Championship game. He has to go to Super Bowl and he has to win it, because every step that he takes, the Rams fans are going to remind him that, well, Jared Goff got us to the first round. Jared Goff got us to the second round. Jared Goff got us to the NFC Championship game. Jared Goff got us to the Super Bowl. Now you got to win it. So he has a lot of pressure on him, like a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford. He has not had that pressure with the Lions. He just has not had that. He probably had that pressure maybe a little bit because he's the number 1 overall draft pick, but no one was looking for the Lions to do anything, even though they drafted him number 1 overall. Nobody was looking for the Lions to do anything. So Matthew Stafford will be walking into a pressure cooker. One of the biggest media markets, in sports, in LA. So they got the Dodgers, they got the Lakers, so they expect to win. The Dodgers just won the pennant, and I mean not the pennant, but the MLB championship, and the Lakers just won the championship. Albeit a bubble championship, but they won it, and they're gonna be looking for Matthew Stafford to deliver a Super Bowl. Now on golf end, now the expectations for him go down. Well, last year with the Rams, expectations for Jared Goff was high. Now it goes all the way down because nobody expects the Lions to do anything. Can he do something with the Lions? Like I said, they got Galladay. If they re-sign him, he got a pretty good tight end. I forget his name. It starts with an H, but he got a pretty good tight end, and they got a pretty decent young running back. So, but they have to get more, weapons on defense. They need more weapons on defense. I believe they get did they get 2 number 1s and a number 2 for Matthew Stafford? Something like that. But the Lions, they are clearly in rebuild mode. I don't know what the Lions going to do, man. Maybe Jared Goff can go there and revitalize his career. This may light a spark under him. He said in a statement that, he's happy to be somewhere where he's wanted, where he's appreciated. So hopefully he gets there, put his head down, try to get there and change the culture with the Detroit Lions. I don't see it happening no time soon. I mean, he's 25 years old. The way quarterbacks and athletes are playing nowadays, he can play for the next 10 years if he stays healthy. You know what I'm saying? Do the things he need to do to keep himself out there on the field, the football field. And another thing with Matthew Stafford always hurt. Like, he had a major back injury, a couple years ago? Was it last year or a couple years ago? And as you get older, your back doesn't get better. Your back, and he's already 33. So you can't look at him and say, because he had the thumb, the shoulder, I believe, he had the back. So you can't look at him and say, well, he's a young 33. He's probably a beat up 33. And no telling how bad that back is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the back doesn't get better. Once you have surgery on your back, man, they don't have no answer for the back. It's just too many nerves and things of that nature back there, along with the spine running up your back. It's just too much, with too little room for error. But I think the Rams did come out on top on the trade because they got something they wanted. They got a quarterback that they believe can make all the throws, even though Matthew Stafford throws interceptions as well. Matthew Stafford throws interceptions as well. Now, the difference between him, like I said, the difference between him and Jared Goff is he can make all the throws, but he make critical. I see him, look, like I said, I seen him two times a year with the Bears. So I see him make critical mistakes out there on the football field, just as bad as Jared Goff. It's just the perception is that he can throw the football better. I mean, it remains to be seen. The Rams has pushed all their cards to the front of the table. They gave up a lot of capital for him, so it has to work out for the Lions. Like I said, Matthew Stafford is on the clock. But let's get to this Chiefs versus Buccaneers Super Bowl. To me, it's an obvious thing right here, man. This is the passing of the torch. And this is the NFL couldn't have had it no better than this. You know why? Because they get to get the young lion against the old lion. People are crowning already in his second year. People are crowning Patrick Mahomes is probably going to be the best quarterback ever. Remains to be seen. Like I said, it's not easy to win Super Bowls. Now he's went to 2 back-to-back this early, in his career. Tom Brady, I believe before he was the age of 27, I believe Tom Brady, or 28, Tom Brady had 3 Super Bowls already, or something of that nature. And look, it's not easy to win Super Bowls. Everyone always say Tom Brady went 9 years without winning the Super Bowl, even though he went to 10 and won 6. This is 10th one. You know what I'm saying? He did go 9 years without winning. So it's not, even with the Patriots, how great the Patriots organization is, it's not that easy, man. It's a lot of salary cap, manipulation. And another thing, Bill Belichick did not pay superstar. I mean, he did not play stars or his superstars. He let them go. He let them go a year too early, like Seymour, Ty Law, Wilford, and a lot of other guys, Willie McGinnis. I think Willie McGinnis probably retired, but, Seymour, Richard Seymour. I remember how good Richard Seymour was. He let a lot of guys go and did not pay a lot of guys. And to me, that helped the Patriots with the salary cap. Tom Brady only had really one dominant receiver in Randy Moss. That's only really dominant receiver he had, but he has some pretty good receivers in Amendola and guys of that nature. So he had what he needed for the system. Like I said, he had a pretty good system, and he did have what he needed for the system. And Bill Belichick always kept a pretty good defense, he always had a top 10 defense, top 10, 5, 6, up in that range defense, because that's Bill Belichick's specialty. So he always had that for Tom Brady, and they always had a decent running game. They never had like a dominant. I remember they had Corey Dillon at the end of his career. Corey Dillon did good for them. I believe he won a Super Bowl with them. They had other good running backs, with them. Just really, really serviceable running backs, and tight end Gronk. Ben Watson. They have some pretty good tight ends, and possibly the greatest tight end of all times that people say is what's the name? It's probably the greatest tight end of all times, but he always had what he needed and what they needed to be successful. And then they were always, to me, for the last 15 years, in just a bad division. Just bad division, man. The Bills, Miami, the Jets, just awful, man. Before this past 3 years, the Bills were not in the playoffs for a long time. Miami Dolphins, not in the playoffs for a long time. The Jets, they were in the playoffs in the middle 2000s. They made the playoffs 3 times, maybe 4 times, but other than that, out of all those teams that I just named, I believe combined, they made the playoffs in 15 years. They made the playoffs maybe 6 times. I think I did I did some research on it, and to me that's like that has to be historically in that time period the worst, absolute worst division. Now and then you got to think about it. The Bucks play all of them 2 times each, so all the Bucks have to do is, which they was doing almost every year. They were going like 6-1, sometimes sweeping the division, and right there they already got like what 6-7 wins. That's like 6-7 wins right there. That's off the rip. So all you had to do was win what five other games, and now you got a home playoff berth, first round playoff berth where you don't have to play in the first round. And now all you do is play what 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. So almost every year the Patriots only had to play 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. And guess what? A lot of their playoff games were at home, where what you have to deal with the inclement weather. You got to deal with the snow up there in Foxborough. You got to deal with all that snow in upper New York. So it worked out for them. You know what I'm saying? It just the things were lined up really, really well. The Chiefs may not have that luxury, you know what I'm saying, of having a historically bad, division, and you know what I'm saying, and having all the home games at their home. Now they have been able to do it the last couple years. They got Travis Kelce. To me, is the best tight end, in football. They got one of the best, at least top 5 wide receiver, and Tyreek Hill probably top 3, depending on how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? They got a pretty good running game by committee. They got like 2 or 3 good running backs that they use by running back by committee. Pretty good offensive line, and they got an underrated defense. They got some playmakers on defense. The thing is, can they keep all these people? Because in a couple years, you're going to have Patrick Mahomes' contract is going to kick in. His big contract is going to kick in. So are you going to be able to keep Tyreek Hill? Because it's like this. How many Super Bowls can you win before you want your money, before you want to get paid? You know what I'm saying? Have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, them say they will take haircuts. And that's just for now. You know what I'm saying? 2 years down the line, what if they win? Well, let's just say they win the next 2 Super Bowls. Now that's 3 Super Bowls. It's going to be teams out there, when their contract come up, there's going to be teams out there that's going to be trying to throw a boatload of money at them. Would they be able to pass up on that money? You know what I'm saying? Generational change in money. Would they be able to pass up on that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Right now they saying that they want to stick together and all that, but how many Super Bowls can you win before you want to get paid? But Deshaun Watson, he still wants out. Like I said, he said that he's willing to sit out the whole season. That's better said than done. He's at the pinnacle of his career. Do he really want to sit out the whole season? It must be really, really toxic. Houston Texans must be really, really toxic if he's talking about sitting out for a season. Now reports said that he's upset. They told him he will be at the table or be notified, when they make a move or hire a GM or a coach. And I guess the Houston Texans hired a firm to go out and find coach candidates, and they had 2 minority candidates, and then they end up not getting those coaches that that the firm picked out for them. They end up going another route. So Deshaun Watson, he wants out. They already had traded his best wide receiver, and they traded someone else too. To me, it was just, they didn't sign the linebacker. They didn't sign that linebacker. I forget his name, but he was, he's upset, on a lot of moves, and the former coach didn't make the right moves. So he wants out, in the teams It's a lot of teams are going to want his services, but they say that reports say that the Houston Texans want 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and 2 starters, 2 young starters. So they want a lot. It's not a lot of teams that got 2 good young starters, but we'll see. Hopefully the Bears should have drafted him anyway. I'm a Bears fan. I thought it was a no-brainer that they were going to take Deshaun Watson. They end up surprising everybody and taking Mitchell Trubisky. And now they want Deshaun Watson. You see how this stuff works, man. It's crazy. But would Deshaun Watson want to play for the Bears and they passed up on him? I mean, I don't know. He maybe not. But the Bears do have a really good defense. Now, this defense to me maybe got 3 years left. Maybe 3, maybe you can squeeze 4 years out of it. They got a pretty good tight end. They got a young receiver in Mooney. Hopefully they can sign Robertson. And I want them to bring Ross in, that Ross kid from the Bengals. You need somebody to take the top off the defense, bring him in. He, just as a decoy. I mean, you can throw him the football, but you need someone to open it up. They got Montgomery, at running back. So he's coming in. He will be coming into some weapons. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what Deshaun Watson is going to do. The Houston Texans came out and said they was not going to trade him, but that's talk because it helps them drive up the price. If they come out and say we don't know what we're gonna do with Deshaun Watson, then everybody know you want to trade him, so he loses his trade value. But let me know what y'all think, man. I'm out of here. Let me get out of here.